Welcome everyone to episode 18 of The Bunker Talk. So excited to finally have you here. It has been a long time in the making.
Oh, I've been wanting to be on The Bunker for a long time now.
I have been wanting you to come for a very long time. We had it scheduled and then my husband got COVID. So we had to cancel it, but we're good.
But now I'm following your dog. And I gotta be honest, I'm a little concerned because that's a tough act to follow.
Listen,
that pup is so cute.
Beasley has a lot of stuff to say too. She really did. No, thank you so much, Nicole, for being with us. Co-founder of The Daily Drip.
Thanks for having me.
We are going to talk about
all the things,
almost the whole time. Like we're going to run through everything else because, I mean, obviously that's your passion project, but it's quickly turned into a passion of mine because the community is absolutely incredible. But we're not going to go there first. Tell everyone who you are, what you do.
All right.
You know, how did Nicole become Nicole?
Okay. My name's Nicole. I am the co-founder of The Daily Drip. We're a media platform, as you know. We have articles, podcasts, videos, all the things. What makes us unique is that everything you read, watch, or listen to is created by local professional women, just like Sierra. She's one of our thought leaders and creates amazing content for us. And it's a very for us, by us approach to helping South Florida businesswomen reach their full potential through connection, through community, through sharing expertise, sharing stories. And the digital realm just allows us to do that and reach more people farther and faster. I kind of got here in a weird way. Like this was actually something that I was doing via teaching. When I wanted to start my consulting firm on content marketing, I thought, how am I going to get clients? I got to get out there and position myself as somewhat of an expert, a professional on the topic. And I thought the best way I was going to do is teach. And so I started teaching at local co-working spaces, chambers, and I would teach on all things hybrid business development because today we're kind of in a hybrid marketplace. Well, then COVID happened. The world shut down. Everyone was scared. Everyone was unsure, and everyone was desperate to get digital. So I converted my in-person masterclasses to virtual Zooms. And over 2020, we connected and engaged with close to 400 business owners, business women through monthly Zoom calls where I was just teaching hybrid business development. And it was that year where we realized we had something special and we wanted to do something with it. But we knew we wanted to do something different. We didn't want to create another networking group, another community, just another. It had to be different and it had to be special. And the fact that the digital arena was so challenging for so many people.
Still is. We
knew that we wanted to have our makeup, our DNA really kind of own that piece of the puzzle. And when we came together to create content. We came together to learn about creating content. And so we're housed on a website.
You know, first of all, I feel like you could read me like a bedtime story. You speak so eloquently.
Thank you.
And so tender. Like you can tell that it is so personal for you.
Oh my God, it's so personal.
And that I love that.
Just this year, in fact, I officially pretty much moved from consulting and working one-on-one with clients into working full-time into the Daily Drip. And if someone would have asked me 4 years ago, would I be running this organization this way? I would have told them, no way. I love working with business owners. I love working with clients. I love the consulting that I did. But this really became such a passion project that turned into a business, that turned into a side hustle, actually.
Right.
Then turned into a business. And now I wouldn't even call it a business. I would say it's a movement. And
absolutely.
And I absolutely have to give as much of myself as I can to it because I really know and believe in my heart what it could be.
Well, and you're still doing that consultation work that you wanted to do, right? With all of us.
Yeah.
You're doing it at a mass scale.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Because today we have 30 thought leaders. They're business owners or business leaders, various industries, and they all struggle with a different nuance that comes with getting digital. So being able to help them and support them by giving them a platform and then help them and support them by teaching them how and helping them put strategy together. I mean, it really is just a mashup of everything I love most.
Right.
And I feel blessed I get to do it every day. Like I get to wake up and do something that I love every day. That's pretty cool.
And it's also just so impactful what you do, right? Like I understand for you, the impact even personally maybe would be in this, consulting work, because that is your passion. But when you lay down at night, you have to just be amazed, right? Like how does that feel to do something that makes so much impact? And I'm not taking away from it at all, but it's also like in a different way, right? Like, like it's not nonprofit work, which is obviously very impactful, very important, right? But this is like, you're helping business women achieve their dreams and their businesses. Like try to see if you could articulate that.
Yeah. So the difference is pretty big. Yeah. And I do lay up at night wondering and thinking, how did I get put in this position, this incredible responsibility? Because the difference is when I'm consulting and I'm working with an organization, there's so much satisfaction that comes out of helping them get unstuck, helping them put a plan together that they believe in, then they go execute it, they get bigger results than they expected, and it's like such a win that we all share, and there's something so incredible about that. But with the Daily Drip, I'm helping people believe in themselves.
Yeah.
That's a whole new level. I'm helping people develop a self-confidence that allows them to believe that they are worthy to be on a podcast, that they are worthy to say something about their industry, about their experience, about their expertise, about their story. Most people think to themselves when it comes to creating content, who cares to hear what I have to say? Or who am I to speak as an authority on this? And so with the Daily Drip, that is the work I'm doing. Right. I'm helping them understand they are someone to speak on those things. And then to be able to give them a stage and a platform to do it and watch what happens when they do. And then the smile on their face and the feeling that they have, it is so different than consulting. It's not about the business. It's about them. It's about the person leading the business. It's the human behind the career. Right. And it's much deeper, much more incredible of a feeling for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's incredible, first of all, to watch it happen. It's incredible to be a part of it and get that support because, like you just said, right, there's one thing about, sure, you could help someone achieve their business goals, and you're doing that for us, right, and by way of action. Eventually we get there, but you're a champion for all of us, right? You're reminding us that we're capable, that we deserve it. No, well, and we need that, right? Because we're not doing it for ourselves,
right?
Because we're busy, right? We're overwhelmed, we're tired, we're stressed, and so are you. But you are, and Romy, right? This organization is not only creating the space for us to take up, but then you're giving us the push that we need to do it.
To get out there, step up, step in, get out there.
Take ownership of the space that is ours, right? Where even if we don't feel we deserve it or we're not ready, that is so important because I think that's the majority of reason why women don't flourish in a way, right?
And now that I've learned, so when you come to the Daily Drip, you're learning how to build a personal brand, a digital presence. You're learning how to become a thought leader, amplify your voice through podcasting, speaking engagements, workshops, blog articles, all the things, right? But it's incredible to watch someone transform their mindset. And when I learned that everyone was starting from a place of who the heck am I immediately switched gears and realized this isn't about like tactics and how-tos. Like, yes, there's a place for that. You are going to learn apps to use,
sure.
Certain ways to content plan effectively. Yes, all that is there. But I quickly realized like I had to create and show people that people are listening. People do care. And I just was at an event this week. Shout out to Michelle Caba and Salinas. I was at their Women's Wealth Circle meetup. It was a great event. They did a great job. And it was at iHeartRadio, which was a really cool experience to get to go see where all that magic happens. And I had 2 women come up to me and Romy and say, "Oh my God, The Daily Drip. I love your podcast." And I literally had to sit back, and Romy and I looked at each other and we were like, "Oh my God, people are listening. So you're the one, you're the one downloading this podcast." And she laughed and we had a good laugh about it. But it's like, that happens often to Romy and I. We walk in a room and people know us. We don't know them. And they will talk to us very rarely about us. They talk to us about you guys. I loved that episode. Tiffany Doogie, the CEO of Children's Harbor, one of our thought leaders, and she talked a lot about just the pressure that comes with the chair, is how she calls it, being a CEO, and the pressure of being in the chair and what you give of yourself, how much you keep giving and giving and giving to that chair until one day it's like, who am I? Where did I go?
Right.
Who did I evolve into? Right. And I cannot tell you how many people have commented to me about that specific episode. We had an event that we did for Impact the Palm Beaches with Lisa LaFrance, who's the president of that incredible nonprofit organization. And she wanted me to kind of share with their members the importance of having a digital presence and amplifying your voice and how that can help you impact more in the nonprofit world. So we put together a workshop for them. Someone comes up to me after the workshop and she says, "You know, I've been a subscriber for months now." I said, "Thank you so much." She goes, "I need you to know that last week's newsletter, I printed the article."
Wow.
I have it pinned in my office. It was 10 resolutions not to make this year. And I told Suzette, the thought leader who wrote it, I said, "I need you to know that this woman said this to me." And I try to share with you guys when these people tell me these stories, because they tell me they love the Daily Drip and that makes me feel good. But then the story never has to do with me and it never has to do with Romy. It always has to do with one of you guys, something you said or wrote or did that made them feel seen, made them feel understood, made them feel like this is hard and it's hard because it's hard, not because there's something wrong with me.
Right.
It's just hard. Okay, now I feel a little better about myself, and they're sharing what they did to overcome this. And that's super powerful. Powerful. I try to bust this for everyone, this myth that who the heck cares what I have to say? Who the heck cares? You know, who am I to be an authority on the subject? You are. I'm
going to tell you, I'm going to be honest, like even, you know, which is, I shouldn't say, but I'm going to say it because it's true. And it's just, it's the whole, this is what we talk about in our thought leader meetings. But like, even when like I call myself a thought leader, I'm like, a thought leader of what? Right? Like I'm not there. Like I tell myself that I am, right. And I'm contributing, but there's still just, it's personal work, right? That has to be done. And we get that from the Daily Drip too. It's just such a beautiful community.
Thank you.
And we were just talking about it, right? That runs deep. It's very deep.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's so, and you bring up a good point. And I learned this because in the beginning, I was all about the how-to, right? Because I was coming from a consulting space. So it was like, I need to teach people how to do this for themselves. And then I realized, yeah, but that's like the side dish. Right. I need to make people believe that they are this. Yes. Then they can go and do it. Right. And that really changed how we conduct our thought leader meetings. There's a lot of deep work that goes into this because
absolutely can tell.
You know, and really it's we take the word leadership and thought leader seriously, right? So the thought leader meetings has the component of coming up with content ideas, leveraging platform building strategies, but it is very much rooted in who are you as a leader? What is your core message? How are you communicating it? Why are you communicating it? Why are you even doing this? And it's only until you start approaching it from that way that you feel inspired to create content, because all of a sudden you're not creating it for sales. You're not creating it for lead gen. You're creating it for impact. You're creating it to help the next insurance broker that's going to go off on her own and start her own firm or buy that franchise or whatever. They see you did it. They hear your stories. They hear your expertise. And they don't feel alone. They feel like it's possible because you are more relatable than any celebrity
It's
or
funny.
sphere of influence.
I saw a quote that I actually included in the presentation that I did for women in Louisiana, women in insurance. And it says, she cannot be you if she cannot see you.
Ooh.
And I was like, I had to include it because I was like, that's just so deep, right? Like, I guess I personally, I had a strong mom, working mom, worked for Equifax. Like, she was a businesswoman.
Oh, wow.
I had that. So maybe I never realized that there wasn't a lot of that outside of my house because my mom was that for me. I saw her, right? So I had no doubt, right? Like, I know that I could run a business, I could work, right? Like all that stuff. But it's funny when I got in a room with 60 plus women in Louisiana and we did like an open session and I asked them, like, I want you to stand up. I want you to say your name, your role in insurance, what is your strength and what is your perceived weakness? Right. And we went around perceived. I didn't want to, right. I didn't want to make them feel. And I was like, if you don't want to share, that's fine. Like, I don't want to push anybody, but everyone did. And they're all similar.
We're all the same. We're all the same. And that is what's so cool about the Daily Drip. You could have a CEO sitting next to like someone who started their business 2 years ago. Right. And the tie that binds is everyone's wondering if they're worthy of being there. And it's incredible to me. It's in this context, everyone's wondering if they're worthy. Like the CEO is still wondering if she deserves to write that article. Yeah. So if you're waiting for it to go away, it never will. It doesn't go away. It doesn't go away. It's just the imposter syndrome evolves along with you. Right. Right. And like you said, like I grew up in a family business. So the women in my family are very strong, very loud. The men do what they're told. No, I'm just joking. But I grew up in a family where the women were very strong. They were very revered. They were very respected, and they were very much a part of the business, the growth, the decisions being made.
I love that.
And so to me, that was normal. Right. I think that's maybe why people look at me and hear the way I talk. And sometimes people will say, gosh, you're so passionate about what you're doing and you're so confident. And I guess, yes, but I also like don't know any other way to be, because believe me, there are times when I'm not, but I still show up a certain way because that's just the only way I've known to show up. But it was shocking to me. The more women I come in contact with, the more women I meet, how that is just not what they were exposed to. And like sometimes you need to see what it looks like to be inspired to do it. Right. And I think that's what's happening with like our OG thought leaders and then the new ones coming in is like they're seeing people that they feel represent them. And they're seeing how much fun they're having and how much they love what they're doing and creating this content. And so any imposter syndrome that they have coming in, they see themselves in someone else who's been doing it a year or 2 years. They see what it looks like. They see it's possible. And then all of a sudden they're like, okay, I should be here. I can do this. And I'm going to have fun too. I'm going to dare to have fun, like putting myself out there.
Yeah. That's great. Let's circle back to something that you had said about just this business world. Yeah. And it changing and it evolving.
Yeah.
How does a small business owner survive?
Yeah.
And in this landscape?
That is the word.
Right. Like
survive.
I feel like, for example, insurance, right? That's our space. We've opened 3 agencies in my family, right? And it's so funny because when we opened this one in November of 2019, 6 months into it, the world collapsed. That's a whole other thing outside of that. But like, even still, it's just so different. We had an agency for 12 years and really our marketing strategy was, okay, we were a part of a BNI that did well for us. But also we were just good insurance agents, right? We had a good referral network because people knew us. We were honest. And now that's not enough.
No,
it's not enough. So talk to me about how this digital side of it that many business owners don't know what to do.
Yeah. And I think it's not enough because none of us are doing anything revolutionary, right? Like you're not in a small pool of insurance agents. No. Like I could throw a stone and hit 10 insurance agents. I can throw a stone and hit 10 realtors, right? Like financial advisors. Think about our South Florida market and like all the consultants. Even me as a content marketer, marketing consultant. Right. There's a million of me. Right. And so what happened is the world went hybrid. It didn't go digital. And I think that's the biggest misconception, is that everything's digital and you got to be online. No, you got to be both.
Both. Yep.
Unfortunately.
I think that's why it's more exhausting.
That is why it's more exhausting. So it's like, you know, when social media came out, it was for fun. It was for personal use. Like I remember when I was in college, it was my senior year that University of Miami got a Facebook. And I was so excited. Like I remember making my account. Now it's one of the biggest marketplaces.
Right.
It's where business is happening. Instagram is not personal anymore. It's one of the biggest selling landscapes that exists. So it's like what happened was very quickly the world went hybrid, and it was like if you were in business, now you're in the media business. And if you're a business owner or a business leader, you're a de facto content creator.
Right.
But no one teaches you how to do this. No one helps you integrate this into your business. And then you start investing in social media marketers and marketing companies, content marketing, and they're all looking at you to say, what do you want us to say? We'll make your graphic design. We'll post your posts. What do you want us to say? And you're like, well, hell, I'm hiring you.
I don't know. I used to do mailers, dude.
You tell me what I should say, you know?
Exactly.
And so
most businesses hire them thinking that's the answer. Well, they're going to do this for me, and it's not.
And then, you know, there is this concept, social networking, right? That's how social media started. First, it was social networking. The idea was a digital place for people who know each other to connect and to find new connections. But then it turned into media, entertainment, right? Now we're on social media to be entertained. We don't even watch TV anymore. Like we go and we scroll and we watch our favorite influencers or thought leaders. We watch their videos. We learn. We get inspired by them and we get influenced to make decisions, right? And so the idea that, wow, I have to now invest all this money into digital and then not show up in person or not leverage LinkedIn or any other platform to actually make real connections, actually network, like social networking. I have your business card, I have your email, you're in my CRM, but I'm connected to you on social media too, because it's just another place we all hang out.
Right.
It's just like a BNI group, a chamber, a networking event. LinkedIn is a networking event that never ends. It's just always raging and you can always access it, but you can't access it and you can't use it if you're not networking on it, if you're not making connections. So I think like that's a big distinction, is making content for the purpose of entertaining and educating an audience about who you are, what you do, why you do it, and why it's awesome. But then also using it to connect with people. Find your people. Find the strategic partners you want to have, the referral partners. Find your friends. Find your clients.
Right.
Find people on there and connect with them.
The concept of like having your clients be your friends on Facebook. I remember before it was like so taboo, and now it's like it's like some people encourage it. I'm friends with a couple of mine.
Yeah.
Like if they request me, I'll accept them.
But think about what your platform's all about. A day in the life of Sierra, owner of the Bunker Insurance Agency. I'm in Louisiana talking at this event. I'm at the Daily Drip Thought Leader meeting. I'm networking here. I'm, you know, with my dog, you know, and it makes you more approachable, and people like to do business with people they know, like and trust.
Yep. You know what's also very, very interesting to me? It's like, I actually said this in one of the presentations that I gave, that in today's marketplace, at least for insurance agents, for us, and I think it's true to any business, it doesn't matter the business, it's that the one that is found is the one that gets more opportunity, right? So it doesn't matter, like in our space, you know, there's good insurance agents, there's bad insurance agents, right? You could be a bad one insurance-wise, like knowledge-wise, product knowledge, maybe a little sketchy, like that happens, right? But if you are found online, you would get more opportunity than the one that is the better insurance agent technically.
When you say found, what do you mean? You mean like by a Google search, or
no.
just mean showing up on social media?
Yeah, showing up. The person that has that strategy down is the one, or the insurance agent or any business owner that is doing things differently is the one that gets found, and they get more opportunity. So for us, you could be a great insurance agent. You could have all the product knowledge. You could have all the coverage knowledge, exclusions. You could know it all. But if you're not found, what good is it?
Right. And you know why that is so powerful is because we are so lazy. with the way we make decisions. We are in such an instant gratification world. So here's how we make our buying decisions. If I know Sierra and she creates content that I love, I feel connected to her. There's a boss who's just out there killing the game, growing her business. She's speaking at conferences. She's connected in this group. She's involved in that group. Look at her. She's all around. And I see her in pictures with people I respect and at organizations I have respect for and everything. My brain tells me that there's social proof there, that she's good and that she must be good because look at all the people she's doing business with and networking. So when I finally have a need, Sierra has so much mind share in me and so much social proof that I'm going to hire Sierra without vetting her. I'm literally just going to hire her because I'm assuming that she's working with all these people. And so when you are out and about in person, and this is where this hybrid marketplace comes in, you have to document it,
convert it,
and make those posts and tag those people and tag the organizations, because then everyone who's following looks at that and says, wow, they must be legitimate. They must, which you are, right? And the idea is to just show what you're doing and who you're doing it with and what you're up to. And that's what creates that social proof that you are reputable, that you are reliable, that you are well respected, well connected, and that you're here for business. And you've got something to offer. Social proof is incredibly powerful. User-generated content, UGC, incredibly powerful.
Explain that to me.
So user-generated content is like when you go to the hibachi restaurant and videotape the onion volcano and post it and tag the restaurant, you're doing their marketing for them, right? So it's the reason why at a Daily Drip event, we love to have photo booths. We love to have activations and Instagrammable moments, because you're doing the marketing for us. You post your experience, you tag us. Now all your network says, my friend Sierra is part of the Daily Drip. If it's good enough for her, it must be good enough for me. I got to go follow them. So that's the most powerful, more powerful than any ad you can create, any graphic you can do, any lead gen event or strategy. Just getting people to post about you and your business is the strongest form of marketing and brand building, personal or organization, that you can ever create. And so if you can find ways to inject those moments in your customer service experience, in your networking, on your social media, that's what builds like authenticity, trust, and an engaged audience that just has made up their mind just by watching you and what you're sharing, that you're trustworthy, because people they know are working with you or networking with you. And so it's the same thing like with the hibachi restaurant. You see your friends at a restaurant. It doesn't even have to be hibachi, but just a new spot.
I'm out. I don't want people playing with my food.
Oh my God, you're so funny. No, my son loves the onion volcano. I mean, it's his favorite part.
Of course.
No, but even just think of a new bar or a new restaurant in town, absolutely. Right? And
I'll click on it and check out their Instagram page and see like, ooh, what do they have? Absolutely. It works on me every day.
Do you know that when we have a Daily Drip Thought Leader meeting and you guys all post, we get the most subscribers in the month on that day?
I love that.
And it's free to subscribe to the Daily Drip, right? And so we will, on the Thought Leader meeting day, these meetings are so, I think we're getting better and better at them with each month. Shout out to Lisa Rigoli for making that possible.
She does a phenomenal job.
She's our leadership coach that does curated lesson planning for us based on thought leadership and leadership. I mean, she does a great job. So much so that there are tears, there are laughs. People leave, they want to go have lunch together.
I never want that day to end.
Now that's what it's become. Now it's a 90-minute meeting that has turned into people just blocking the day, and then everyone goes out to have lunch together after and keeps the conversation going, and it's beautiful. But like on that day, it is so impactful. The experience is so high for everyone that you post a picture and make a post about us.
Always.
I don't ask you to do that. I don't ask anybody to do that, but you feel compelled because the experience was so personal for you.
Always.
And then you're not the only one who does that. So like dozens of women with networks are creating their own posts, talking about the Daily Drip in their own words. In their own way, sharing their experience. And what happens? We pick up all these followers, we pick up new subscribers, we pick up everything. It's because the user generated the content about us. And it creates that social proof that the marketing's not coming from the company. Of course, you're going to market yourself. It's coming from someone who's engaged in their product or service. And that's super, super powerful.
That is so good. It is definitely, I mean, probably the most challenging time to be a business owner, right? Like staffing issues, people issues, product issues, all that stuff, pricing, shortages, everything.
Oh my gosh.
And then it's just like the marketing piece is so complex. And and I think it's because people have to get so uncomfortable now, right?
Yeah, you can't just have someone market your logo.
No.
Do you know Google Analytics released a statistic that executives or business leaders that create posts, their posts get 8 times the engagement than the organization's post.
Right. Because they want to know the person.
Exactly. It's the reason why Tesla doesn't advertise.
Right.
They got Elon Musk, and more companies are figuring this out. In fact, there's another statistic that got released that Fortune 200 to Fortune 500 businesses are investing more of their marketing resources in promoting their people than promoting their products. Mm-hmm. They're investing in thought leadership training, thought leadership asset development. They're getting their leaders speaking engagements.
Right.
They're going about marketing a totally different way, because what got us here will not get us there in the 21st century in a hybrid landscape. We don't want to be sold to. We want to be told stories. We want to be entertained, because social media now is where we get entertained.
Right. Talk to me about building a personal brand. There's a lot of conflicting ideas about this in our space, because, for example, I'm the agency owner. Let's say I have 10 producers, right? Like, what are your thoughts? Before we get into just personal branding in general, I'm interested in your thoughts on, like, how do you feel about the employees building their own personal brand while representing a company that's not theirs?
I feel it's critical.
Okay.
I really do. And I feel it's a win-win, which makes it that much better, right? And I have this conversation often because we got asked now by corporations to go into their company and teach our thought leadership program, but exclusively to their leadership. And it's
great.
It's incredible, right? And so we're now teaching some of our lessons in corporate, right? And that's a question that comes up is, well, do I want to help my team build their platform so much? Because what if they leave, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, but isn't that the case with any training and development? What if they leave? You've got to invest in people. You might as well just invest in the right things. And then for the employee, you're now working for an employer that's giving you an asset. Like, your platform is yours. Doesn't matter where you work. And so now if you have an employer that recognizes this is just the landscape, this is just the game, my people will get 8 times more visibility, reach, engagement than my company posting something. Nobody cares.
Right.
Like, nobody's following the banks. They're following the presidents of the banks, right? So, if you can get your people to feel comfortable and learn how and give them the resources to build their brands, you're giving them something, a benefit. Wrap it up into the benefits package, because you're giving them something that's theirs forever. You're also creating community, because we talked about how deep this work goes, because you have to decide who you want to be, what your voice is going to be, how you want to show up. And so by you providing that level of education and space to create, like, your persona and put it out in the world, like, if your company does that, there's this whole, like, personal development side that goes with it. You're checking so many boxes for your team, and you see it with the Daily Drip, how once you get over your fear and once you start doing, you are so bonded with the people you're creating with, and it's such a cathartic experience to be creating content and develop your personal brand. Your digital character is what I like to call it. That's right.
Good, yeah.
That, like, I just don't see how a business can get away from it. And so I think even trying to come up with something like that is almost like a waste of time, because this is just the world we're in now.
It's also, like, people forget that it lives on the internet forever.
Correct.
So the work that this employee does for you, even if they leave in 2, 3, 4 years, it's there. It's there forever.
That's why you need an IP law is so important.
Right.
Right. And so when, like, for example, at the Daily Drip, in our agreement, when people come on, They create content for us and we both own the rights to it. Meaning if tomorrow your business exploded and you're like, Nicole, I just have no time for the Daily Drip, I can't be there.
Never will happen, ever.
But that's okay because guess what? I can still reshare your content, your blog articles you wrote, the episodes of the podcast episodes you're on, and people can continue to learn from you long after you're with us.
Right.
And it's the same thing for the company, can still have that. Now, there's got to be parameters, right? So there's got to be
like we don't need the content of you at a bachelorette weekend, like at 3:00 in the morning.
No, nobody needs to see that. But it is, and that's where the distinction between thought leadership and content or social media content and personal branding, it all comes into play. Because if we are a law firm and we do family law, let's just say, and you have several partners or several of council members or lawyers in your firm, and you want to encourage them to build their personal brand and talk about the work that they do, give tips, share advice for either other attorneys that might be referring clients or the client themselves, however you want to be talking to the audience, whoever that audience is. I just think they're going to need your help. This is the unique part about this. And I just had this conversation with a corporate company, is everyone's so worried that what if they say something that we don't align with, or what if they say something bad? You're lucky if they even say something, right? Like that's how hard this is for people to do. So you are going to have to provide them with some ideas. What should I write about? What should I post? It's literally the thing we all struggle with.
It goes back to, what do I have to say? Right. I think that people overthink it, myself included. I
agree.
Like I've never really documented a day in the life of, right? Like I've never done it. Every time I get on a plane, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna record this, right, in a way where I'm gonna like show me walking through the airport and all, and I never do it, and because I'm just like, who cares? But the thing is that I overthink it in a way where it's just like I forget that people want to be entertained.
Right. It's
just entertainment. It's not that serious. If I get to learn a little bit while being entertained, great.
Exactly right.
That's great. So like, okay, cool. I'm talking at a women's conference. Great. I could say one of the points that I shared. Fantastic. But it's entertainment.
And it's also humanizing, right?
Right.
So last year, Romy and I almost killed ourselves. Like we did way too many events. We were hosting events like every 5 minutes, and it was super taxing because we were working all day and then hosting events all night. So there was setup, event, like working the event, and then breakdown. And sometimes it would be 9-10 o'clock at night. I'd be driving home and I'm starving because there's no time to eat. I'm certainly not eating at the event when everyone wants to talk to me. And I threw this event to try to like connect with people. So I would, I'm embarrassed to say, I would run through Taco Bell, and Romy would always be like, you're disgusting. No. And I'm like, I love Taco Bell.
She doesn't love.
No, Romy's like a very picky eater and like a health conscious person.
Cheesy gordita crunch.
Cheesy gordita crunch or nothing. Are you kidding me?
We literally are.
We're the same
soulmates.
person.
We really are. Romy was right.
But guess what? Okay, so see how this just happened?
Yeah.
This exact scenario happened in my Instagram stories because I documented the event. I documented the setup, the breakdown, on my way there, how exhausted I was. And at the end of the event, I documented myself in what was a ridiculously long drive-through line at Taco Bell. I was like, you gotta be kidding me right now. I'm starving. It's late. I just want to go to bed.
So funny.
So I took a picture and I'm in the line and I posted just how like, this is the life. Like this is what my life looks like. This is when I get to eat dinner and this is what I'm eating. And
it's so
many people were like, cheesy gordita crunch. Did you get this? Did you get that? Girl, I love Taco Bell. Of course, Romy in the DMs, like, you're disgusting. You need to take better care of yourself.
Romy, chill out, all right? So, look, we're not all paddling across the ocean.
I know. She makes me feel so bad about myself because she's just so good.
She's an overachiever.
She's such a beast, like in so many ways that I'm just like, I look at her, I'm like, damn, I could never be you. I could never do that. But there was this whole connection that happened with probably a dozen. I would maybe more messages I got, and we all connected over Taco Bell, and so now people felt like they knew me a little bit better. They knew something else about
also
me.
It makes us feel better when we do it, like, oh, we're not the only ones that eat Taco Bell at midnight.
Exactly. It's all about not just sharing what you're doing and what you're up to, but like why and how it makes you feel. And, you know, the whole Taco Bell post was funny. And it was like, I was trying to be funny in it too.
And it's real.
That's my humor. So
Yes.
like they get to know my sense of humor. They get to know my style. They know that I like Taco Bell. They know that I'm like working till 10 and I'm going to go through hit up a drive-thru.
And that you're tired. Like, I think so many people glamorize the, you know, this image of just always being on, and, you know, you always look put together at an event and you're just doing it, and every day over day, and it's okay to talk about how bad it is. And that it's hard, right?
And it's real, right? So you're sharing the real stuff,
which is what people want to see.
Which is what people want to see. They want to, and guess what? In the Daily Drip, we're talking about the real stuff, whether it's in an article or on the podcast. And it's what people relate to. It's what they want to hear. That brings us all the way home to Tiffany's podcast that so many people continue to talk to me about. They're all feeling it. And so what happens is when we feel that way, we feel like it's us. Like there must be something wrong with me, that I can't handle this, that I can't figure this out. And until we all start talking about this sucks, like this is hard, then you realize, oh, it's just, this is hard.
Right.
So like, it's not me. It's
just
this
hard.
is hard. Okay. Let me see what works for me to navigate this.
Yeah.
We see a lot of that with like the working moms, right? Some people have little kids. Some people have big kids. They all got different problems, but problems nonetheless.
They're
the
not
juggle
easy.
is real. So it's like people sharing that, and you know, there's the mom guilt is real. Like people torture themselves. We torture ourselves in our heads about that we're not doing enough. We could be doing better. Whether it's about being a mom, a business owner, or both, or whatever. And, you know, until someone else says, yeah, same.
Like, you feel alone.
You know, you feel alone, and you feel not good enough.
You feel unaccomplished almost.
Yeah.
So then I'm going to start doing a better job on a personal brand. And I've been thinking about that ever since, I don't remember which thought leader meeting it was. It might have been the one where Lisa was telling us that we have to say everything 7 times.
Yeah.
That replays in my head all the time, and talk about like, who are you showing up like on the internet? Like if someone goes to your page, how do they know what you stand for? Do they know what you want to represent? Right.
Right.
Ever since that meeting, I've been thinking about it. And so it's like for someone that is looking to build a personal brand, where can they start? Like what's easy or what are the things that they should do to start?
I think a good place to start is, who do you follow right now that you enjoy? Like who inspires you right now that you're already consuming their content? Maybe you follow their blog or you listen to their podcast, follow them on social media. What is it about them that inspires you? Like, and how are they communicating that? Like, take inventory. You know, it can start as simple as that, because really, in order to build a personal brand, you first have to decide who you want to be.
Right. Which is the hardest thing.
Hardest part. I mean, nobody knows what they want to be when they grow up.
Right.
Least of all us.
Right.
No, I'm just joking. But no, you know, you got to figure out, who do you want to be? Who do you want your digital character to be? Think of it that way. It's a character, a version of you.
I've heard of people like actually like on a whiteboard, like write this person down. Give it life.
Give it life is exactly right.
Yes.
And think about it. It's not being inauthentic, because the way I show up to a business meeting or a networking event or a bachelorette party or with my family at the dinner table or at my son's school, they're all different versions of the same girl.
Right.
But there are common threads. Like, I'm always going to be sarcastic.
Right.
I'm always going to make fun of someone.
Right.
I'm always going to be the one, like, that's late. I'm always going to be, I'm always going to be like certain things about me that, I'm always going to be genuine. I'm always going to be the first one to raise my hand to help if I know I can. Like, there are certain things about me that are just, no matter what context you get me, you're going to get those things. And so then it becomes, okay, how do I translate that digitally? Right? How do I give love and support to someone else? I'm the first one to reshare. Romy puts me to shame. Romy reshares everything. I try to be really good about it. I try to reshare and give my thoughts as to why I'm resharing, why I'm so proud of this person, why I'm so inspired by this person. I'm the first one to do that. It's a way I can translate what I do in real life digitally.
Right. That's really good. You're supportive in real life. You're supportive online.
I really try. I try to comment. Like Romy's really good about resharing. I think I'm better at commenting. I try to comment because that gets the party started in the comments.
I have noticed, and you're not the one that comments the same on every platform. Your comments are different on every platform. My comments are different
because they're really mine.
Which is really good.
They're really my comments. I try to read the post. Well, think about it. If you're torturing yourself about what should I post,
right.
What I do when I see a post is I think about how much that person tortured them over just the right words, just the right picture. Right. Like we're all thinking about what should I post, right? So if you took the time to put something together, I should take the time to read it and give you more than an emoji. Right. Like what's an emoji going to do? It's not going to start any conversation. So I try to be, first of all, comments really go a far way. Better than sharing even, because it triggers more people to join the conversation and it helps just build your reach.
I got to do a better job.
Commenting is like, and I always tell people, like, be social on social media. Right. Like if you however often you check your email, if it's however many times a day, set a timer, block it in your calendar, and maybe for 30 minutes every day, go through your feed and give meaningful comments on people. They put a lot of time into that post. They're stressing over it. Give them some love. Comments. You don't have to reshare. It doesn't have to be like a whole thing, but comment on it. What was your takeaway? What do you think? What's your opinion on that? So that's like one of the ways that I try to translate something I do in real life and a real part of me into digital. I'm always documenting my work, but how it makes me feel. So if I present it, I do a lot of speaking. Like I took a picture of me and you, a selfie. I'm going to make a post about it. Like that I got to come on the Bunker podcast and how I respect you and what my favorite thing about you is. And I'm going to give people a window into my mind through the post. Right. And so I'll try to always document my work, especially if it's boring and especially if it's super exciting. So, I'll try to showcase like the stuff that sucks as much as I try to showcase the stuff that's cool about what I do. And then I try to share my hobbies.
Right. Humanize you.
I humanize myself. Like I love to cook. I don't do it nearly as much as I should, but I do enjoy it. So if I'm cooking things.
I've seen the dinners.
You've seen the dinners. I try to post about that. I post about my family, in a way that I'm comfortable with.
Right.
And when I do it, I'm usually being funny or sarcastic or like something because that's just my style. That's if you were to have a conversation with me, that's how I'd be.
Yeah, no, you are 100% Nicole online in person.
You get the digital version of me.
I mean,
Nicole Light.
It's so good. Like that is so powerful. It and I think that's why it's so hard for people. Again, it's hard to be yourself in person.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
You're right. Like you just said, you have different. All of us show up as versions of who we are, depending on the event or whatever it is, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that because to the core, right, you're still yourself.
Right.
But that's hard to translate and document.
It's hard. And, and it's funny, but you don't have to do that every day either. Like, let me say that. I think last year I had maybe a handful of posts that were like deep. I really gave a lot of thought to them. And one of the posts was, I got married in January. I got remarried to my husband, Frank. And we got married January 7th and New Year's was right before. And I was really kind of like in my feelings about like just reflecting on where I was and where I am in only 5 years. And I wrote it down because for me, writing helps me like get clear about whatever I'm feeling or thinking because sometimes my head is a war zone. But I wrote down how like I couldn't believe how 5 years ago I didn't even know Romy. People are shocked when they hear that. Right, that's how close we are and that's how much of what we do. I didn't know my husband. I was not even working in my consulting firm. I was with my family's business still. Like
everything was new.
I was a completely different person only 5 years ago. And I was just kind of like wrapping my head around, wow, like a lot can change in 5 years. And I can't believe it. And so I put this post together. It was really simple, like maybe 100 words or less, but just like basically sharing that's what was on my mind lately. I cannot even tell you the amount of DMs and the amount of messages. I even got some emails. Some people texted me and they were like, I just got to let you know, like, I'm going through it and you just made me feel like I'll come out the other side or something like that along those lines. Like everybody took away whatever they needed.
Right.
Like everyone saw what they needed to see themselves in some part of that. And I don't think that needs to be a daily thing. I think that's also
because it could be happening to someone daily, but then it seems almost forced.
But you don't need to exactly. Right. It doesn't seem authentic. You don't need to be deep every post.
And I think
you just need to be real.
That's a piece of like the shyness or the people holding back. It's like, oh, it's so superficial. It doesn't mean anything. And that's what I meant. Like, we forget it's entertainment. We forget that people just want to be entertained, and then the business or the friendship comes eventually, right? Like, they just put something out to be remembered, to be entertained, lighthearted, especially nowadays, right? Like, people just need a good laugh. Like, we're so stressed and depressed.
It's so true.
Like, let's just take my mind off my problems.
That's why I think dogs and babies and food are the things that get the most engagement.
Right. I promise that's why Beasley was on the podcast, not to steal your thunder.
I see what you did there, Sierra. I like your style.
Quick question. I had another question for you about you and Romy.
Yes.
I want to see your version, or I want you to explain to me what it's like to have a partnership with someone.
Oh my God.
Like Romy, in the sense of like, how can you love someone so much and build a business with them as a friend, as a sister, as a co-founder, as everything that she means to you? How do you guys do it? How do you navigate those waters of partnership and business and being so intertwined?
That's such a good question, Sierra. That's a really good question, because it's so deep. I think, and I came from a family business, so like this question is really loaded for me.
Yeah.
And I think that Romy and I complement each other.
We do.
We are not the same. Our skill sets, our strengths, our weaknesses are not the same. Mm-hmm. And I think that is the only way a partnership works. I have never seen a partnership work in my life, in my experience, where everybody's good at the same things.
Right. Well, then why would you need a partner?
Exactly. Right. And so I think because we complement each other, we give each other the space and grace to shine in what our area of expertise is. Mm-hmm. So like, I am never going to be known for networking the way Romy is. Like all roads lead back to Romy. She is just the queen, but not even just at being everywhere, because she gets a lot of credit for being everywhere. That's like the number one thing everyone says. Romy, you're everywhere. Oh my God, you guys are everywhere. But it's what she's doing when she's everywhere. The thing is, she is making friends.
She's everywhere, but actually present.
Correct.
She's present where she is. She's not going everywhere to check it off a list and say she was there.
She's not there for the picture, the post, and get out.
Present.
She is there. I mean, Romy will call me from every single event or text me and say, oh my God, I met the most amazing person. Oh my God, I met this woman. We have to set up a call with her. I think there's something there. And, it's like a whole thing. And she just gets so excited and she gets lit up, literally. And as someone who loves her, it's incredible to see that. Like, you want that for the person you love. You don't want to be competitive with that or feel like, oh gosh, am I keeping up or anything? There's none of that truly behind the scenes. I think people wonder a lot about us. Like, is it really as like amazing of a friendship as we see online, as we see at events? Yeah, it really is. Like, and that doesn't mean we don't tell each other the truth.
Sure.
When we need to hear it.
No, it's because you tell the truth.
But when we do, it's never with malice. It's always with, I know you're better than this. I know you can do this. You may not believe in you, but I know you're going to figure this out. And she'll give me all the praise and all the props for the strategy side of things and the marketing side of things. Like, she'll always praise me in a way I would never praise myself. Like, she's always that. But I do think, we see a lot of solopreneurs, startups, business owners, and it is very hard to be out there building the business and working in the business and fulfilling whatever you bring in. And so the fact that she's tackling one arena and I'm tackling another allows us to just move so much faster.
Yep.
But I think also what makes Romy and my friendship and partnership so strong is that we share very much the same values, 100%. Like Romy and I value family first and foremost before anything else. Like we are both not motivated by money. We are both motivated by impact.
Yes,
both,
that is clear.
Yeah, like we would do this for free if we didn't have to pay our bills. Right. Like, you know what I mean? Like we genuinely are motivated by impact. We both would be the first to raise our hands to help if we could.
Absolutely.
We both lead with gives. We're both givers. But at the end of the day, we're both it's like a marriage. We share the same values. So it's like, we don't fight over money. We don't fight over, like relationships and marriage is like they fight over these certain things. We don't have those because we're on the same page on the stuff that matters all the time. And because she trusts me and knows that my skill set lies in strategy, I don't have to sell her on what we're going to do. I more present it with, here's what I'm seeing, here's what I'm thinking, and I think we should do it this way. And sometimes she does see things that I don't see because she's in the field and she's having conversations. So even me knowing this is where my strength lies and I could whip up a strategy that she would have a migraine trying to do it, I still present it to her because I still have the wherewithal to know she's having conversations I'm not having. She's seeing things I'm not seeing. She's out in the field, and you need that perspective to seal the deal on whatever you're creating in a vacuum on paper. You need that to come in and say, yes, but. And that's what we do. And we have regular lock-ins, probably quarterly, where we book a day where all we do is work on the business. We reflect, we look at the last quarter, we look at what we did great, what we didn't do so great, or what's not working. We put new plans together. And I mean, we do that quarterly. And I think you need to do that, especially when you're launching and growing. You need to temperature check. Right. Because things never pan out in real life the way you think they will in a strategy session. There's always something you didn't factor in or whatever. So you got to give yourself that space to like think critically about your business and make moves.
I think that it is a beautiful relationship to see. It's a beautiful partnership to see. And it's funny because now it's like, it's a coined term, right? Like I told you, like I have my Romy, right? Like it's a thing.
It's a thing. Well,
it's a Nicole and Romy thing.
It's funny because people will talk to us in who they are. Like I'm the Romy, I'm the Nicole.
That's amazing.
It's so funny. And sometimes it has to do with like brunette versus blonde. And other times it has to do with skill set and personality. So but it's like, I'm the Romy. Oh, I'm the Nicole. That's like so with Miss Esquire, Trisha and Risa. Yes, like we're always like laughing about that. Like Risa is totally Romy and Trisha is totally Nicole. Yeah, I love that. And we don't have the same hair color.
It's opposite. It's
the opposite.
I love that. I love that.
But it's cool.
I could talk to you. I mean, we talked for an hour before.
Yeah. You guys didn't get the bloopers.
No. But before we wrap up, first of all, thank you. Thank you for your friendship, for your mentorship, for the Daily Drip, for giving us you.
Thank you.
For giving us Romy, for creating the space for us. I mean, this is life-changing for it. I mean, it's going to be countless amount of women and the men that support us. It's incredible what you guys have built. Tell us about the new structure of the Daily Drip to wrap it up here, of how you've expanded it to, make it more available.
Yeah. So, originally we had thought leaders and we had subscribers, and you could subscribe for free to access all the content that they create. But we realized there were a lot of people who weren't ready to create or who just were looking for community alongside their learning or networking. And so we created the community membership for people who are still trying to answer the question you asked me, which is, how do I build a personal brand? How do I get started? How do I do hybrid business development? Where do I start? How do I do it? And so we put together what I believe is a really good membership to give people the education they need, the support and community and relationships they need, and then the technical acumen and the ability to go and create easily in a studio with professionals that can help coach you and guide you. I think it's a great space for that. And then the thought leaders, of course, are the ones who are really the heartbeat of the Daily Drip, and the Daily Drip really reflects whoever they are. So as we get new thought leaders in with new perspectives, the Daily Drip always kind of changes because it is always reflective of the thought leaders.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, tell everybody where they can find you and the Daily Drip.
You can find me on any social media platform, Nicole Mastrangelo, and you can find the Daily Drip at www.thedailydrip.com.
Thank you so much again. And there's still so much we have to talk about, but that'll be for next time.
We'll have to do another episode.
Oh, you know it. We're going to do another one. Thank you.
Thank you, Sierra.